Although marathoning a series is one of my favorite things to do, with new books constantly being added to my TBR, I am always falling behind. I am currently working on 55 series to be exact, which is why this year I've made it a goal of mine to get that list down, either by completing them, DNFing them, or just catching up on them. And in this video, I have wrapped all 55 of those series. I'll be unwrapping them randomly, reading that book, and having to make a decision on it. Hopefully, you and I together get that list of series all the way down. You can't see them, but I have 55 wrapped books next to me. This is the scariest episode I've done of this. This is the third episode technically. You can just jump on in right here. But if you want to go back and watch episode 1 and 2, I will leave them down below for you. But this is completely watchable on its own. This is the first episode where I have zero control. Like, these are just wrapped randomly. I have no idea what I'm getting. They're not labeled, nothing. So the only thing I have to go by is what I think the book looks like, if it's big or not. And like, I guess I can feel if it's hardcover or not. I only owned 16 of them. I wrapped the other ones with just a sticky note and a book, but I did match page count. I did go through, and if a book was 600 pages, I found a book that was 600 pages roughly on my TBR and I picked it. So that is the only control I have. I'm scared. When I was wrapping these, I realized there are a lot of things on here that I didn't realize was still on there. There's actually a few series that I thought I'd already DNF'd, but I decided to wrap them up anyways and see what happens when they come up. There's also a few that I was like, am I willing to buy that book to continue it? We are getting down to like the nitty gritty. I feel like we're getting down to the series that I'm either absolutely wanting to continue, or there's a reason I haven't continued them since 2014. I am giving myself some veto power. So I asked my patrons, I'm going to have one veto for the first 5 books. I kind of aim to unwrap 5 to 10 in a video. From 6 to 8, I will earn another veto, and 9+ I will also earn another veto. I don't know if I will veto anything, but I don't know what to pick first. Let me look. There's scary things in every category. I don't know. This is too hard. This is a paperback, but it feels very dense. Okay, I think I'm between these two. This one's a hardcover. I'm just feeling that this could be the next... Oh no, this is heavier than this one. What is this? That's terrifying. Okay, we're not gonna touch that one. Let's do this one that's literally falling apart. Oh, that means I wrapped it at the end, I think. Ready? Oh! This one says the Married to Magic series, which is by Elise Kova. It's actually a series of standalones that are like companion novels. So I have read 2 of those. So I'll have to decide which one out of the other 3 that I want to read and continue on in those. That one's kind of fun because it is a standalone, but it's also part of this like series that is completed. Honestly, a good first pick. I'm happy with that one. No veto is needed here. I got Wendy's for lunch. I have been obsessed with the spicy chicken burger. I am waiting for the Chick-fil-A to open up in the south side of my city because then I can order that. But until then, the spicy chicken burger from Wendy's is a pretty good dupe. It's missing cheese, which the Chick-fil-A one has, but like I love that the breading in both Chick-fil-A and Wendy's is spicy. It's not just a spicy sauce, but the actual breading of the chicken is spicy. It's so good. But I have made an indent in my book. I'm currently 16% in. I'm actually on chapter 6, and I'm liking this. I'm actually really liking the setup. There's something about Elise Kova's writing for me that is very just like, feels like coming back home. Like there's something so like comforting about how she reads. It may be because I've read a decent amount from her and I've liked most of them. Like I loved the Air Awakens series, and then I loved the vampire one in the series. I just really didn't like the Elf King. We can just pretend that doesn't exist. This one I'm vibing with so far. I really like the setup. It is Cinderella inspired. Our main character lives at her house. Her father has gone away to sea and something bad has happened to him. No one's seen him for months. He's probably dead. So his wife takes kind of over and is in control and isn't the nicest to her stepdaughter, who she makes essentially a servant. But they are losing money and they need money, and in order to get the family out of money, they decide, well, the stepmother decides to sell off her daughter, essentially. You know, good old olden times when you get like a dowry for marrying someone. And she says, I will offer you some of my husband's ships if you want my daughter, but the ships are like a really good deal. So people are paying money for the ships. Like there's more, like normally like the female brings a dowry, I believe, but in this one, since the ships are such a good deal, there's like a competition to get them. So they're like paying good money. And she's sold off to the highest bidder essentially, who doesn't even come, sends a servant in his place. She's like very terrified. She thinks being married, having to start a family is like the worst thing she ever has to do. She goes to her new house. It is very close to the forest, which is said to never go into or else bad things will happen. There is some old past lore that the Fae live in there. When she gets there, she's excited to finally meet her husband. He will only talk to her if she promises not to look at him. They have like back-to-back chairs. He doesn't really talk very much. He's the only other person besides the one servant in this household, and she is told some specific rules. Do not go out past the courtyard. Do not under any circumstance, no matter what you hear, leave your room at nighttime. And there's one more that I can't remember. Obviously not as important at this moment in time. And then also she's not allowed to look at him ever. And that's another rule. I'm intrigued. I'm obviously intrigued about what's happening at nighttime. Obviously some Fae stuff is happening. Like he's obviously the Fae prince. But I'm still like invested into what's going down. They've had a couple moments together and I have liked those. There's a moment where she's like playing her instrument and he's like very mesmerized by it, and I thought that was super cute. I'm impressed by how much it's making me interested, considering there is no like explicit oh my god he's so hot scene. I think that that's really cool. Like the story is getting me invested into the relationship, and there is some like good tension, even though she can't look at him. He can look at her, but she can't look at him. Anyways, I'm eating my food before it gets cold. We are back at the stacks because I am DNFing this book. It's not that I'm not liking this, but I'm just not enjoying it either. I think that Elise Kova's writing is kind of really beautiful. I said that it feels like coming home, and it does. Like, it's so easy for me to read. However, the story is kind of boring. We have cats who currently really want to play. I just don't care. I don't care about the relationship. I don't really care about the plot going on. And this is how I felt in A Deal with the Elf King, and I did finish that one. And I regretted it because I didn't really enjoy that one. So I decided to DNF this one. I was hoping it would lean more to how I felt about A Duet with the Vampire Duke, because I loved that one. I ate that entire story up, but that one's a lot longer and I feel like just has a lot more depth to it. I loved the world building in that one, and I do think the world building in this one is kind of cool as well. Like, I do think that the overall style of these standalones is super cool. Essentially, they're all in the same world. At one point, our world was divided into, I want to say 6 different lands. There's the human land without magic, and then within the land of the magic, there's the Fae, the elf, the sirens, the vampires, and the wolves. And each kind of has its own politics going on. Each has a different amount of power. And the thing is, humans can't live in the magic realm. They actually just like are sucked dry. Except for the wife to the elf king. So like the queen of the land, that's the only human who can. And so each story has to find a different way to bring a human in. And so I was enjoying that aspect. I was enjoying the actual world building, but also, am I enjoying it because of this book, or am I enjoying it because of what Duet had told me? And I keep flashing back to like how the vampires made it so that she could stay in this world, and how the stakes felt so high in that one. I feel like there are no stakes in this one. It just feels so low. I don't really vibe with our main character, and their romance is just like non-existent. They're just kind of there. So I am DNFing this one. It's kind of sad because this does not get our number down, because I'm not DNFing the series since they are standalones. I will try the other 2, but it's time to do another pick. I think I unwrapped red last time, so maybe we should do one of the like green ones. This one is kind of calling my name. Or this one. I feel like I should make my pets pick at some point because this is so stressful. I don't know. This one feels dense. This one's floppy. But that could mean anything. Do I go with the chunkier boy? I'm scared. Oh Lord, please help me. Damn. This is the Claw on the Crown, which I have read, but the sticky note for this is the Book of All Things, another series of standalones. I don't even think I should have included these. I'm thinking about using my veto on this. I would like to actually work on a series. How did that happen? 2 next to each other? This is like a series of interconnected standalones that are like, there's like 10 of them. So again, it wouldn't be something that I'm like DNFing or continuing really. I would just be reading a book. I think I'm using my veto. Oh god, that's scary. I'm using my veto on book 2. We're gonna do this one. Oh, this is an exciting one. We're gonna be reading Shadow and Storms by Helen Schuer. I'm excited. I'm glad I used my veto. Oh my gosh, this is so much better. And this will finish off a series for me. Listen, I just showered, my hair's still wet, and I'm only 26 pages into this book, but this starts with such a bang. Oh my god. I am so intrigued by what is about to go down in this book. I'm really scared it's gonna break my entire soul. I shouldn't be shocked because book 3 ends on such a freaking cliffhanger. And book 4 start? Helen Schuer, what are you about to do to me? What are you about to do to me? All I have to say about that one. But I figured I would show you my Sephora haul because I did go to Sephora this morning. And I spent way too much money. I just had to restock on a bunch of things. I was pretty much out of everything and really needed to go. So I got my go-to tinted moisturizer, which is by Laura Mercier. I use this most days. Ooh, my new favorite powder. I used to be a Laura Mercier translucent powder fangirl, but I'm currently obsessed with the Rare Beauty one, which is like kind of pinkish, and I feel like the pink tone just looks really nice on my skin. I had to get a new moisturizer, and they didn't have the one I usually use, but I used to use the Tatcha. This is a really expensive, but I think it's worth it, and I'm very excited. My skin feels so dry because I've been out for like 2 days now, and it's needing it for sure. This is a new thing for me to try. I got the Rare Beauty 4-in-1 Mist. I normally use MAC Cosmetics Fix Plus for like setting all my makeup. It's what I used in my professional kit when I did makeup professionally, but I figured I would try this one because they were out, so I just got a little mini of it to see if I like it. Oh, this is also, I decided to try the Summer Fridays Lip Butter Balm, vanilla to try, and then Staples NARS Cosmetics Radiant Creamy Concealer. This is the only concealer that I use nowadays. I try some every once in a while, but like I always go back to that one. And then I did get a new shade in the Makeup Forever Artist Pencils. You can use this technically on your eye or on your lip, just pick one. Don't switch between the both unless you're going to clean it professionally. But I got the color Boundless Berry, and I'm very excited to try this one out. But yeah, that's everything I got from Sephora. Going back to this to read it and scream about it. I'm about to be broken. I just know it. I just know it. Also, look at my Christmas sweater. It's got cats and a Christmas tree stack. Good morning. I got very much carried away last night playing My Sims. I'm so happy that they decided to re-release that. If you don't know what that is, it's a game that came out in 2008. It is technically a Sims game. It is by the Sims creators. However, it's kind of like a mixture between Sims and Animal Crossing, and they just re-released it for the Switch. They just like updated some of the graphics and stuff so that it would work and be playable on the Switch. And I was obsessed with this game as a child. I have like really like concrete memories of me with that like metal detector getting all my little essences. I remember really liking the sad and the mean essences, and so I was mean to all of my Sims all the time. You're trying to make your city great again by building things for them, houses, pizza ovens, things like that, like whatever they want, you build. And then you collect essences to like paint the objects, and different people have different requests for the essences, and like everything is a paintable essence. There's like fish, and like there's like different categories of things. There's like yummy essences, scary essences, happy essences, things like that. And when you build something, there's like a little like, you can try and make, I don't know what noise that is. Is a plane crashing? What is making that noise? Can you even hear it? The cats can hear it. I hope you can't hear it because I'm just gonna keep talking. I have such a big update to do. What is that? Okay, I think I played this back in that you guys cannot hear it, so I'm gonna keep talking. Played that, got carried away, played it for a few hours last night. Probably gonna play it again today. And I'm on chapter 33 of this book, which according to Everend is 56% through. I will say I'm having mixed feelings about this book. I have complaints. I have a really big complaint that I find a lot of fantasy romance is doing lately, where there is a cliffhanger on one book, just for that cliffhanger to be resolved instantly in the first like 50 pages of the next book, and I'm just like, what was the point? You have no stakes to your books, because when you put stakes in there, they're just like fixed with a snap of your fingers. I really prefer when my books have stakes, and I really do feel like the series is lacking them, and I'm really worried that like something's gonna happen that I'm not gonna like at the end of this book because of that element where like every time they put stakes in this book, I feel like we just like will them away. Like there is a thing about how she can't be this and this, and she just decides, well, I'm gonna do both, and they let her do both. And it's like, okay, where are the rules? Where are like the moments where like, yes, Althea should be told I can do whatever I am, I can be a woman and do what men can do, but she shouldn't be told that she can do literally whatever she wants. And like in life there is a moment of being like, oh crap, that failed, and I would like to see her go through something like that. This is the 4th book in the Legends of Thesmar series, which follows Althea, who lives in a world where women aren't allowed to wield blades. There's a prophecy that when a woman wields a blade, the shadows are going to come, and so the people in power were just like, no woman can ever wield a blade. However, she has decided that she is going to become a legendary war sword and wield that blade, and she just like fights for her right to do that the entire time, and we see the prophecies unfold and things like that. I don't think that this is feeling like a final book, although I'm really enjoying it, and it's like really easy to read, and I'm liking my time with the characters, and I'm really liking the setup for the spin-off series that's coming, following 2 characters we know and love in here. I just like don't feel like this feels like a final book. I mean, for half of it they're not even together, and I'm like, I feel like in your 4th and final book your characters should be together. We should be getting to eat up their interactions together. I don't know. Or I should be like on the edge of my seat, like what is going to happen? Are they ever going to see each other again? And I feel like I need one end of the spectrum, and this is just kind of sitting cozy in the middle, and like I'm having a good time with them, but I'm not like loving the plot. Also, I have decided I don't think you can read this book without having read this book, which is fine because this is the best book in the series. It's technically not part of the series, but like it's in the world. This is a 5-star read. This is the best one, easily. The standalone romance in this one, incredible. You can read just this as a standalone, but I don't think you can read this series without reading this, because so much what happens in here is very important to this 4th book, and I feel like without the context I have of reading this standalone, I would be completely lost in this one. I wouldn't understand characters. I wouldn't understand how we even got this whole ass thing happening. I don't know. I definitely think that this is necessary to this series, but you can read this one and not read this. You just can't read this without reading this. Does that make sense? I don't know. Sometimes I just ramble, and I hope it all makes sense when I'm editing. Okay, game plan for today. Finish this book, unwrap another book. I have some wedding photos to edit. I'm almost done editing wedding photos. So excited. So I'll finish that while I edit wedding photos, and then I'm gonna unwrap another book with you guys. Hopefully it has an audiobook so I can play my Sims again tonight. I did finish. I'm giving it 3 stars. I think that this just didn't hit for a finale. It's getting 3 stars because I love the characters and I just loved being with them, and there was something comforting about reading about them and how the story was going to wrap up. It honestly kind of felt like a cozy story to me, because where were the stakes in this story? For a world that feels like it just has so much like stakes within it, with the shadow race that you can become if you step out, with the darkness clouding the sun so things aren't growing properly, so they're starving. Like, there feels like there's just stakes built into the world, but then the stakes within the actual story just feel like they go out of the country. I don't know, out of the atmosphere. I just feel like I knew that this author was doing nothing to hurt us. And I feel like there were characters introduced that we were supposed to care about for her to feel like there were stakes, but like I didn't really care about them because I just learned about them. And I just... This book was just all plot, but also nothing happens. It's just battle after battle after battle. I feel like things were rushed. Every scene was rushed within the story, and the only like romance we truly got was Wilder and Althea sneaking into a room to go have a quickie. There would be a smut scene that would be like a couple paragraphs long. Like, they were just throwing in quickies wherever they could, but like we didn't actually get to see their relationship develop at all within this story. Whether that's because it was already so concrete, but I don't know. I think book 3 possibly could be my favorite in the series because of, I feel like, the turmoil we got within that story. Wilder carries the story for me. I truly am a Wilder Hawthorne stan, but at the end of the day, these characters, Talamir Starling and Drew, outrank these two forever in my mind. This book is worth this entire series, in my opinion. This is the best book. But yeah, that does put us down to 54 currently reading series. Since I am now done the Legend of Thesmar series, I will be recommending it still. I still enjoyed it. I just didn't love it, and it did let me down for a final book. Which does mean we need to pick another book. I have a stack of things I'm considering. These feel like really floppy and nice. Oh, this one is coming open. It's literally being ripped open. Does that mean we read it? I don't really want to open that one. I want to open this one, maybe. Or this one. Wait, this one feels nice. What do I think you are? I'm scared. Okay, I'm scared. Why did I use my veto already? I take it back. I want it back. Okay, listen. I've DNF'd this before, and I just didn't want to say it on my channel. I loved book 1. I am blurbed. Right here, that's me. I said, a unique magic system and nuanced characters. You'll fall in love with the story from the very first page. Covers with Cassidy. About book 1 in the series. I want to DNF it. I DNF'd it like 60% in. Why is it still on this list? I've heard nothing about book 3. Nothing. Nothing. The author has said nothing. No part of me wants to read this. I'm DNFing the series. No! I will not be unhauling this because it's the first thing I've ever been blurbed on. But honestly, I have no interest in continuing this. It is what it is. Let's unwrap the other one. I will say, when you have no choice but to read a book that you unwrap, it really shows you what you really want to read. And we are now down to 53 series with my vicious unhaul. Well, with a vicious DNF of that. I just had to be real with myself. That's all. Should we go for this thin boy? Do I even own books this thin? Nope. That scares me. What about this one? What book is this small? Is this a normal size? I'm assuming this is Crown of Oaths and Curses. Gonna avoid that one. Okay, this one. Oh. I don't know what it is yet. Can you read it first? City of Blades. Oh. This is by Robert Jackson Bennett. This is the City of Stairs sequel. Okay, we're gonna try that. My Wendy's got here, so I'm gonna go eat my chicken burger. Okay, I'm 10% into this one. Honestly, I was expecting to come here and tell you I was DNFing it. I don't remember like anything from book 1. I remember it being a murder mystery, and I remember liking the murder mystery aspect of it. I remember liking the world building, but feeling like the characters fell flat, and that's about it. And so starting this one, I was like, ugh, am I actually gonna read book 2? Thankfully they have it on Everend, so I'm listening to the audiobook on that. And I feel like it has started to refresh my brain. We're following the same character, but like years later as she comes out of retirement to solve another murder mystery. There's something in this world where there used to be a bunch of gods that ruled all these lands, and all the lands had like different magics based on their god. But in a blink of an eye, all the magic was erased, and anything that like had magic no longer exists. So in this one, we're seeing a city that once levitated due to magic, and when that blink happened, the city crashed into the water and is now underwater because it no longer is floating. So there's a bunch of like things like that that happened when the gods left them, when the gods decided they were no longer worthy of their love and their magic. And if I remember correctly about the first one, I might have to go rewatch my vlog. Something really cool about being a booktuber is like I can just go rewatch the vlog where I read this in and hopefully like be refreshed about my thoughts. If I remember correctly, the murder mystery is gonna have something to do with the meddling gods that like kind of want to come back, but some of the gods don't want to come back, and it's just like a really well done murder mystery. So I am intrigued. I'm excited to see where this one goes. It's refreshed my brain quite a bit, and I like that it's kind of like the characters from before, but they're like meeting up again to like solve one more mystery together. I don't know. It's like kind of working for me. So I'm gonna continue it, which is good news for the vlog, especially after that like instant DNF. When I decided to do this episode this way, I had a feeling this could be my most ruthless episode because I'm really taking out all of the choice from myself and making myself pick up things that like there's a reason I haven't picked them up. So I have decided to DNF City of whatever it's called, the City of Stairs sequel. I have not read City of Stairs since 2022. It's been 2 years. I gave that book 3-star. I really just didn't care. How far did I get in? It's City of Blades. I'm on chapter 10. So according to Everend, I'm 27% in, which I think is a good indent in. I don't really care about anything that's happening. I don't care about the characters. At this point, the world building I'm kind of confused about just because it's been so long that I don't really remember it all from the first one. And the murder mystery is not that interesting in this one. And so like, why am I continuing? There's nothing inherently wrong with this book, but I don't like it either. So like, I don't know. There's 5-star reads in this pile probably, hopefully. So why am I reading a 3-star read? So we are DNFing that one, which I think puts us down to 53 currently reading series. I need to unwrap another book. I'm scared. Let's just move this way. This one's kind of calling to my name. I feel like, I mean, it's a paperback. I could go for like a really thin one, but that feels kind of scary. How many pages is Shade of Madness? Okay, we're sitting around the 500 mark with this amount. There's this one. I don't know. I'm scared. Why am I doing this? I don't even need to unwrap this one to know I'm DNFing it. This one is Son of the Shadows, which is the sequel to Daughter of the Forest, but they're also kind of standalones. I don't even know why this is on this list. I think it's because I gave Daughter of the Forest a really good rating and I was shocked, and so I was like, oh, maybe I'll read the sequel someday. I don't want to read this. I know I like Daughter of the Forest, but I still have no interest in this. And I think at some point in my life, I wasn't okay with that. There is a completionist person in me who feels like once I start a series, I have to finish it or I have to give them a try, and just because I liked one book, I feel like I have to read the entire series. At the place I am right now, I personally don't care. Like, if I read book one and liked book one but don't feel the need to continue, it's my own reading journey. It's my own reading experience. Let's not continue. So we're DNFing this. Sometimes you just need to sit down and be forced to read something. Like, you have to be like, I have to read this or nothing at all to realize I don't want to read this. So, not this book, Son of Shadows. That puts us down to what? I already lost track. Making good progress. My battery's dying, so I'm going to replace that, and then we're going to unwrap another big boy or small boy. Maybe I should go small. I'm not having good luck with the big boys. I checked the statistics and we're at 51 currently reading series. I also changed the camera angle just because I felt like it might be better luck for me. I think I'm going to go with this one. Ooh, okay, I'm happy about this. I'm happy I didn't have the other one. Games of Death and Desire, which is actually one of the series I recently added to this list, so it's one I'm obviously excited to read. This will not help me because I probably will not be DNFing this. This is the second book. It's a Why Choose romantasy that I'm really excited for, so this probably won't help me get the series down, but it'll help me work towards completing a series, and I'm happy that this will probably be a win because so far this vlog, I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it, and I'm just like, okay, I need a good book. I need a high. I'm not sure I'm ever gonna take the entire control out of my hands ever again because I don't think I like this. I am too much of a mood reader for this situation. It is so stressful. How do people exist like this all the time? Like, some people just do this like all year round. Couldn't be me. I am about to try and get Tate McRae tickets for the third day in a row. Well, technically my friend did day one and then we both did day two and now we're both doing day three. Did not expect it to be the Hunger Games to get Tate McRae ticket. I mean, I like her, but it's her first stadium tour. I did not expect it to either sell out or be so dang expensive. Yesterday when we got in, there was only 1,000 people in the queue ahead of me. Our concert arena holds 20,000 people for concerts, a standard concert. That means that I should have been able to get tickets, in my opinion, if there's only 1,000 people in the queue ahead of me. When we got there, the only tickets that were available were nosebleeds for $600. But there was also a few pit that were also $600, and that makes sense. How is pit the same, like floor seating, the same as nosebleeds? Ticketmaster needs to be held accountable somewhere. It needs to not have a monopoly. It really annoys me. So we're trying again because there was 2 like pre-sales and today is general sale. So we are going to try again. Hopefully fingers crossed that we get tickets, but who knows at this point. But I have made a decent chunk into a Game of Death and Desire, I think is what it's called. I was close enough. I do have my sticky note here and I am loving this. It dives right into where the last one ended, and that ended on a bit of a cliffhanger. So I'm very excited that we got to see the like initial reactions to what just went down at the end of book 1, and we are getting the male POVs. We're inside their head quite a bit. And the one guy, I love him. He's just so angry and it makes me so excited because I know it's gonna be like peak enemies to lovers, and they have such forced proximity to each other that like it works so well for me. They're keeping, like, there's gonna be a little bit of miscommunication at some point because they're keeping something a little bit of a secret, but I truly just think the world building in this is so cool and so unique. Like, every time they talk about how someone gets power, it just like really piques my interest again, because essentially this is a Why Choose romantasy where the first book, I guess the second book too, is a murder mystery. We're following our main character who finds someone dead and accidentally steals their soul, and their soul, like that person is inside of them talking within their head, and that person says, I was murdered by someone because I know there's a plot against the royal line. And so she convinces our main character, whose body we are in, to go figure out what exactly was going on and to go talk to her, the girl in her head's companions, and help them out. And they just just like all try and solve this murder mystery together, and it just works so freaking well. But in this world, they get magic by giving something up. In order to get magic, you have to give something up. So people like sacrifice their ribs. They'll have people missing teeth and will have like gold teeth in there because they gave up teeth to a god. Some people like will chop the top of their finger off to give that to the god. So you give something to the god and the god gives you a gift in return. The bigger the sacrifice you give, the bigger your gift is. But then we also have people who are born with magic, and they're bad. They're very, very bad. Our main character is born magic though. She's not bad, at least as far as we know. And I really enjoy this. It's definitely more plot heavy than Why Choose Romance heavy, but I kind of like that. I really like how slow burn it's feeling and how much time we're giving to the world building and the plot within it. However, if you're going into this thinking like Why Choose, you might be a little bit let down, because I feel like as I read more Why Choose, I really realized how fast paced those are and how like quick to the romance they get. And 30% into book 2, we have not had a lot of romance within either of these books. But like I see the teasing of it and I really, really love that. So yeah, I'm enjoying this. I'm very happy that we unwrapped it because I was really needing a win, and I feel like this is a win. A phone update because I'm lazy. What's new? I'm on sprints on Tori's channel and we are playing My Sims and listening. I'm 52% into this book. I don't have a lot of thoughts. I think that this is taking a little bit too long. I really think that I could deal with the plot picking up. There is a lot of plot happening. I just think it needs to be sped up a little bit. And I would like to spend more time with the characters. For a Why Choose story, the romance is very much lacking. It's very plot focused, which I think would make it a really good introductory Why Choose story for people who are on the fence of whether they think that's something they would like. But I do wish that we saw more of the romance and that everything just like sped up a little bit. I am giving this book 4 stars. I think I read this one a little too fast. Do you ever just like sit down and kind of read something in one day and then afterwards you're sitting there and your brain is just so overstimulated? Because that's kind of how I feel right now. I probably need to sit on it a little bit, and in my wrap up I could see this becoming a 3-star. Maybe? I don't know. It feels like a 4-star for me, but I have a lot of complaints, so like I'm like, if I'm complaining this much, does that make it a 3-star? But like my enjoyment levels, I think, make it a 4-star. This book was a little too long in my opinion, a little too repetitive, and a lot similar to the first book in plot. And I think that this whole series is kind of gonna vibe that way from what they set up in the end of this one. I think that the next one is gonna have similar vibes, but also I still really enjoyed it. I liked learning more about the conspiracy that's happening. I liked having our characters have more interactions. I do think that this is plot heavy. We do see romance in this one, and I don't think the romance is done that well. Like, it's not done. It's pretty insta-lovey, even though I still like enjoyed it. I don't really see the chemistry behind them. So I don't know, like I have these serious complaints. Like, it's a Why Choose and the chemistry is non-existent, but I just enjoyed the plot so much, and I feel like the plot is the very much focus of this story and our character's journey, and I really like her friendship with the voice inside of her head, and I like a lot of this, and I just felt like I had a really good time reading it, and I didn't ever want to put it down, which is how I read it in one day, and now feel like a child that needs to go for a nap because I've had too much candy because I'm so overstimulated. But overall, I enjoyed this one, and I'm happy that we picked it because I was definitely feeling the need to pick something. I'm gonna watch some TV and go to sleep, to be honest. I don't think that I plan on reading whatever I pick tonight, but let's pick our next book from these stacks over here. Why do I want things from the bottom? Oh my god, this is fucking heavy. Okay. What about one of these? They're kind of thin. I have a feeling these are Darcy Coates books that are wrapped, because they look very similar vibes, and I wrapped a lot of Darcy Coates books just as like stand-in books. There's also the really skinny one. I'm trying to think about what the shortest book on my list is. It could be like Murder at Lamplight Express. I think that this is the smallest book currently. Okay, like all of these, I guarantee you all of these are Darcy Coates books. This one could be too. Okay, does anyone remember what color I unwrapped? Because I don't. I feel like I've had bad luck with the red ones. Should we do this one? It is a Darcy Coates book. Oh, This one is the Wayward Pines series. Now, actually, I think this one could be a DNF. This is the second book. I liked the first book. I'm not sure I'm willing to buy this book. So what I'm gonna do is look around to see if I can get the ebook or the audiobook somewhere, and if I can, I think I'm going to continue this, but if I can't, I'm not sure I have interest in buying it in order to continue, even though I love Blake Crouch. Like, I love Blake Crouch, so like maybe I should, I don't know, but we're gonna do some snooping to figure that out. I knew it was Darcy Coates. I guarantee you all of these are a Darcy Coates book. This could be really bad lighting, so sorry, but it is what it is. I think my cats broke my ring light, so I ordered a new one, which it was already kind of sketchy, so I was already needing a new one. I use my ring light pretty hardcore, so I tend to ruin it with my heavy camera after a couple of years, and it doesn't like to stay up properly, but I think the cat stepped on it and tried to like walk across it, and that didn't end very well, probably for the ring light or for them. Also, things not ending well. Miley fell in the bathtub this morning. Okay, it's giggle worthy. She did pretty good. She fell in, her own fault, because she was trying to like climb the shower wall, and typical chaos cat that she is, fell in. My mom had to scoop her out, but Miley, like, her head barely went under. Like, she swam across the bathtub. She like wasn't that angry. She definitely didn't like being wet afterwards, but she wasn't like pissed off or like that upset. So we were definitely laughing at her as we tried to like dry her off with a towel, and like we put her next to the heater to make sure she got warm. She did pretty good. She's fine now. She feels so soft, but honestly, seeing a cat soaking wet is kind of hilarious, because when do you see that? She also is a lot smaller. Like, when you saw her soaking wet, she looks absolutely tiny. She definitely is a fluff ball. Honestly, never a dull day with these cats. But I am actually 50% into Wayward. I am unsure about this one. I keep debating whether I should DNF it or not. I'm enjoying it, but I'm not like loving it. I think that this is a series that you probably need to read pretty close together, because even though I've watched the show, I was kind of a little bit lost about what was happening, and like don't necessarily feel the connections to some characters that I feel like we were supposed to feel, because I don't remember what happened in book one. So I don't remember the character journeys or the character growth from book one. So I think that's really like hurting my enjoyment of the book. I think I might finish this one off, but I'm not sure I'm going to continue on in the series, but it depends how this ends. If you don't know, Wayward is in the Wayward Pine series by Blake Crouch. There is a TV show about this. However, I recommend going into this completely blind. It is a sci-fi thriller, and I feel like the less you know, the more you're going to enjoy it. I knew too much going into book one, so I felt like book one was kind of slow for me. However, saying that, I reread my review for that book. I feel kind of similar about this one, but I don't know too much going into this one. So maybe the story just doesn't work for me. Not entirely sure, but I am 50%. I have an hour and a half left, and I'm having a great time making my town great again in my sim. I'm moving in like all the spooky characters, so I'm just gonna continue listening to the audiobook and play this, and then we will unwrap another book together. Okay, I have actually finished and decided to give this book 4 stars. I really enjoyed the latter half of it, and I will be continuing on in the series, so that doesn't knock down my series list at all. I don't know when I'll get to it. I'm not in dire need to read the last book, but I'm intrigued to see how it all ends. Again, I think I'll just get a library hold and wait for that to come in, because I don't think I'm willing to pay for like the audiobook for it. I'm not like dying to know, but if something came up for like a readathon or a specific thing where I was reading the 3rd book, I would be very happy to read it and figure out how it all ends. So I definitely will be putting some Libby holds out for it. The second half definitely engaged me to know exactly what was going on, and I liked the town aspect in it, and I do wish I cared a little bit more about the characters, so I probably shouldn't wait too long between book 2 and book 3 now that I've kind of been like reset in my enjoyment of them or who they are. And I'm intrigued by like the last page of this one to see what that means for the next book. I would call that a win, which is good, because I would have probably never picked this up. Like, it would have taken me a while to pick this up, especially because there is a TV show. That means we have another thing to unwrap. Do we unwrap another Darcy? I feel like this one has potential for some reason. I'm gonna regret this. I feel like I have had not good luck with like this size story. What if I go thinner? This one is thinner. Let's do it. I'm scared. What if I just change my mind mid? Oh, This one says Forged in Frost, which is the second book in a dragon shifter romance book that I read, and I did enjoy book 1. I only gave it 3 stars. I think that I could like this if I continue close enough to it, and I am decently close because I did start this. I think I read it 2-3 months ago. I think that if I waited another year, I would not be interested in continuing, but at this point I am interested. I enjoyed it enough. It kind of sucks because it's Audible exclusive to get the audiobooks if I decide to go that route, but let's see if they're on KU. They are on KU, so I might try reading them physically, and then if I'm vibing with this one about 100 pages, and I might get the audiobook, because I did read the first one in audiobook form and did really like that. That felt like a good win for me again. I feel like we're on and up. Like we're feeling good about the books, because for a while I wasn't feeling good about the books. Nick and me decided to impromptu go to the cabin for a few days. Both kind of need a little getaway. We are still working while we're out here, but it's nice to be out here, especially with the fresh snow we've gotten. I feel like it looks really pretty outside, and so it's kind of nice to like wake up and look outside and there's like sunrise and there's snow and it's pretty. Yeah, so we're out here. I did bring some of my wrapped books so I could continue this vlog, but I'm 100 pages into Forged in Frost. I don't have many thoughts on this. I think I feel very similar to how I felt about book 1, which is that this is a mid book at best, but it's so easy listening that I kind of enjoy it. It's a really good audiobook to listen to when you're playing games, and of course I'm playing My Sims again. And just in general, like when I'm doing things, it doesn't take a lot of brain power. It's just a fun time read. It'll probably be a 3-star for me, but I feel like sometimes there's 2 categories of 3 stars. There's 3 stars that are just like really mid that you have no thoughts on, and then there's 3 stars that like you enjoy but like don't think are incredible but like want to continue. And I feel like this is one of those series that really works for me as a 3-star book that like is nothing incredible amazing. It's not gonna be the next fantasy romance that I personally am screaming about, but I enjoy it. Essentially, we're following a world where the Fae and the dragon shifters were at war, and in order to stop the Fae from killing off the dragon shifters, one of the dragon shifters made a bargain to send the dragon shifters to another planet, and there had to be like a tether somehow, so he stayed behind, and if he dies then the dragon shifters will all come back to this world, or like the portal will open, I think is actually what it is. So he has put himself under a slumber, kind of hidden so that no one will find him and no one will be able to wake him. He's like a slumber in stone kind of, because if he dies it's not looking good for his kind. But the thing is, the only way that his slumber can be awakened is if his mate finds him, and in the first book that's what happens. Our main character, a Fae, stumbles across his dragon shifter and realizes that they're mates, and we watch a whole conspiracy theory happen. We watch a whole like plot to take down the kingdom because the ruler is not very good. Very typical like fantasy stories, but I don't know, there's something very engaging for me of just listening to this while I'm doing things. So I am enjoying it and I will continue. I did want to update you on the 2 things I got from Sephora to try. The Summer Fridays lip balm, incredible, amazing. I put it on multiple times a day. Like, this is amazing. The Rare Beauty 2-in-1 like setting spray, I do like the application and what it does. I hate the smell though, so I probably won't get this again because I just can't stand the smell of it when I spray it on my face, but it does work well. So if you don't mind the smell, I would recommend. I prefer Fix Plus though. I think even Fix Plus just works so much better, so I will definitely be getting Fix Plus again. However, this, I'm probably gonna get a different flavor thingy. Incredible, amazing, especially with it being winter here and getting really cold. It gets dry, so you need this. Don't look at me like that. We are having a makeup review on the book too. I went to Sephora in this vlog. Okay, that's it. We're making chicken Caesar wraps for dinner, and I'm excited about those because I've been craving them, so it'll be a good time. Sorry for the really bad lighting. And for the audience, we have a live audience to clap and cheer for me tonight. That was loud. I am just getting ready to watch Vampire Diaries on my Patreons. I'm drinking some wine, so I'm gonna pour some while we talk. I think I am still 20 minutes left in my audiobook for my current read. I'm still really enjoying that. I'm gonna update you guys on that tomorrow. But I figured because I'm gonna finish that probably in the middle of the night, because I'll probably listen to my audiobook while Nick's asleep in bed, because he goes to sleep way earlier than me, but he has to get up for work and I don't. He stopped listening to me, so we have no more clapping.
You
That
want me to clap for that? It doesn't sound like a beneficial moment.
it's beneficial to me. That I'm going to unwrap my next book so that if I need an ebook while I'm trying to go to bed, because I tend to read myself to sleep sometimes, then I can do that. Hopefully we'll have an ebook version. I only brought 4 books with me. It felt wrong to ship like 54 books out to my cabin with me. So I have these 4. Would you like to pick one?
Sure.
Come here then. I'm scared. Duck down. Just kneel.
Can I open one with my teeth?
Or do you want to sit?
Huh?
Sit.
Why am I sitting?
You're the star of the show. You have to unwrap one.
Wait, I'm unwrapping it? I thought I was just picking one. That's too much pressure.
You can unwrap it. I have to read it.
Can I shuffle them like cards?
Well, they can't see you shuffling it.
I don't know why I'm shuffling it because we know what they are.
I don't know what they are.
No, that's not what I meant. I mean, you don't. If you shuffle them, you still can see them.
Oh.
You know which. Never mind. I don't know. Were you a big present person or a small present? As a kid, do you want the big ones or the small ones? I always open the big ones. We're gonna pick Big Red. Were you one of the people that opened it so daintily that you didn't
No.
rip it? Oh my gosh! I wanted this book my whole life.
I didn't want this. Can I take back his pick?
I've never read a book in life, but I wanted this so badly. So bad. Can I read the first page to people? Spirits of Vengeance. The school burned. Koshihashi. Konihashi. Kanashiha. The 5th sage under... Wait, that's not a real sentence. There's no period there. I found a grammatical error in this book. The school burned Dokinashi. The 5th sage under. And then it's just blank and it starts with a capital.
No, it's because
Oh,
it's
it's
a title.
a word. This is why I don't read books, because I can't. Yeah, that's enough reading.
Okay, well, thank you.
Carry on. Oh, the grammatical error.
Okay, this is the Mortal Techniques series by Rob J. Hayes. They are also a series of standalones. We seem to be unwrapping those a lot in this video. I do have the audiobook for the last one, and it is the last one that I have to read. I've read Never Die, which I didn't like. I gave 2 stars in this series, and then I read Pawn's Gambit. It was my SBFBO book last year. It was one of my 30 that I had to read. It was like my runner-up. I did really like it. I just didn't pick it as my finalist, and I loved that one. So hopefully we like Spirits of Vengeance. This is a chunky boy, but I do have the audiobook already, so that feels really good. And I do love Rob J. Hayes. I am a Rob J. Hayes stan typically. Like Along the Razor's Edge, the Eska story, one of my favorites of all time. So hopefully I will love this one. Thanks to Nicholas for picking me this chunky boy. Okay, side note, one time we were out here and we painted wine glasses, and Nick thinks that he's so bad at everything, and then he whips out Picasso images. Like, look at mine, you know, we have cute
Picasso
little...
images? You think Picasso had a 6-pixel mega camera and he was just snapping photos? Like,
Okay.
She doesn't even acknowledge me.
Look at
She
my...
says okay.
Look at my cute little pumpkins. But like, basic. Look at Nick's Picasso fish swimming in their red wine of leaves. Like, you can't even see, like, there's pebbles down here, like the bottom of the fish tank. And he's like, I suck. Mine's ugly. I can never do this. Why do you make me paint things? This is why. This is why.
This is why. This is why. Isn't that?
So comment down below if you think that Nick should paint
Bro, that fish
wine
looks...
glasses for a living and sell them on Etsy.
Bro, I would sell a picture of my right toe if someone would buy it. Bro, that's just a mediocre fish. Look at him. He looks like his flippers came out wrong.
He's just special. Okay, I have finished Forged in Frost. I'm giving it 3 stars. It's kind of what I expected. It was just an easy listen. I don't really have a lot of thoughts on this story. It's something that I just kind of listen to. Don't really have to think too deeply in. It's kind of like a palate cleanser story for me, and I like having those sometimes where like I just get to put it on, I get to do whatever the frick I want to do, and I don't have to be thinking about what every little sentence means, the metaphors, what characters are struggling with. It gets such an easy read, and that's kind of what I enjoy about this series. I'm not DNFing the series, which means it doesn't really help get my number down. I'm gonna continue. When, I don't know, but I hope sooner rather than later, because I do think that if I wait too long, I'll be like, what the heck is going on? And I wish that they weren't Audible exclusive. I don't necessarily recommend this series. Like, I don't think it's the next big romantasy or anything like that. The romance is a little insta-lovey because they're fated mates, but you know they're fated mates from the beginning, which is something I really appreciate. I don't like when fated mates is like the twist in a story, but when you know from the beginning, I don't mind, because like obviously that's why they have that great bond, but like it's not meant to, when it's done as a twist, I feel like sometimes it is meant to be like a band-aid for the fact that the author didn't write good enough chemistry. When it's done at the beginning, sometimes I can just vibe with it, which is maybe not fair, but it is how I feel. And I don't know, I enjoy this. It's nothing special, but I enjoy it. I'm not recommending it. It won't be on my best of the year, but if you're looking for just like a brain empty audiobook to do some stuff around the house, I do like these. So that is another book down, not another series down though. We still have one more in that series. This morning I started Spirits of Vengeance, but I'm only 14 pages in, which is sad because I feel like it took me a really long time to read those 14 pages. Epic fantasy just has so many more words, so much more thinking process that needs to be done than a romantic, so it takes me a little bit longer. I am going to switch to the audiobook today, since I do already own it, because I bought a bind up of the first three, well, the three in the series. I think a fourth one is coming out, but it's not out yet. So when I read this, I will have a series off my list, at least for the time being, unless I DNF it. And if I DNF this, I don't think I will continue on within this series. I think that Pawn's Gambit might have just been a random surprise for me. However, so far into this, I am really enjoying it. Rob J. Hayes talks about how this is kind of like his love to anime and all of that, and that's what he created within these series of standalones that each are in the same world with these gods and these creatures and stuff, and it does give me anime vibes. I love anime, and I do think that there is a style choice that I like in this first prologue. We see someone with legs of a spider, and that just gives me Inuyasha demon vibes, and I was enjoying that. So I am happy that we picked this, even though I wasn't happy last night, because I definitely needed the push to read this. This was actually on my priority series for the year, which I have massively failed at, but if I finish this one, it means I at least did one series, which is good. Okay, I have decided to DNF Spirits of Vengeance. I think I'm 60 pages into this. Honestly, it's feeling very dry, which is a feeling I had about both of the other ones, but with Pawn's Gambit, one, I was forced into completing it because it was a Spiffbo book and I had to review it. Two, it had a competition aspect that I was really interested in, and I didn't feel repeated itself too much. And Never Die, I felt like the concept was very similar to Pawn's Gambit and repeated itself so much, and I think I'm having the same feelings of Spirits of Vengeance, that this feels like the other two books too much. And I think something I'm learning about standalone companion stories is what doesn't work for me in them sometimes is the repeated nature of what we're learning. I've already learned about the world. I've already learned about the gods and stuff. But in order to make it so that you can read them completely out of order, obviously the author has to repeat all of that in every single book. And I just truly feel like I get annoyed, it's repetitive, and half the story I've already read in the previous two books since I've read them. So I think that's why this doesn't work for me, and I just don't care. It's so dry. I don't really care about the characters, which even in Pawn's Gambit, I felt that way. I thought the characters were its slowest point, which is why it actually didn't become my Spitball finalist. If the characters had been better, I think it would have. And where I'm at in my reading these days is I've definitely become someone who needs to really grab onto a character right away to really enjoy the story. These slower stories are not working for me. That's why you're finding me in my romantasy era, because the way that YA fantasy or romantasy just grabs you in from the start is something I personally really need in my reading these days. Epic fantasy being so slow is really where I'm struggling at. So I am DNFing this, which is the end of this vlog. I will be watching Dancing with the Stars tonight, and I'm really excited to watch the finale and cheer Chandler and Brandon on. I will be voting for them. And I kind of wanted to talk through who won with you guys, but it is what it is because I was not expecting to DNF this or finish this vlog so early. We are, with this DNF, down to 50 currently reading series. I am on 50. Considering we started at 77, we've only done 3 episodes of this, I'm feeling very good about my progress. The next episode of this will come, I think, early February. There's going to be a bit of a time jump in there just because in January I will be doing Reading Booktubers Favorites, so I think we will be skipping that month. Just like in every episode, let me know down below how I should be picking my books next time. If you have any fun spin that I can throw on this. I did enjoy doing the wrapped books. In the end, even though it took all the control and was absolutely terrifying, it really pushed me, which was nice. I'll leave episodes 1 and 2 on the screen here for you in case you haven't watched them and you would like to, because you could start anywhere you wanted in this series. And if you've made it all the way to the end of this video and you'd like to leave me an emoji just to say you were here, leave me a present since we wrapped all the books, and have yourselves an absolutely remarkable day.